Hi, this is Richard, and in this video, we're going to be looking at your ideal customer. So in previous sessions, we've looked at creating your avatar and working out the sorts of things that you might be interested in and how you might present to that customer. Now we're going to look at your ideal customer specifically at how to identify them, how to attract them, and how to work with them. And this is much more practical. We're going to be looking in this session at a series of questions that when you answer them will allow you to put together marketing that is focused on your ideal customer. And it's worth asking the question, well, why do you even need to focus on your ideal customer? Why not just provide the service to everyone? Well, the answer is your ideal customer is the one who values your service. They want what you provide, and therefore they're prepared to pay for what you provide. It helps if you can solve a big problem for that ideal customer, because that's the problem that they're going to pay you more for. They're the person who's going to be coming back to you and buying more from you. They're the person who's going to be telling everyone they know about the service that you provide. And they're also, of course, if they are your ideal customer, they are the ones who consider you the ideal solution provider. So they're the ones who you really want to attract. And by focusing on your ideal customer, that allows you to work out exactly who you want and identify more of those people and attract more of those people. You don't need many of your ideal customer in order to have a thriving business. So who is your ideal customer? First question sounds like fairly straightforward one. You've probably got a pretty good idea of who your ideal customer is. From a gut feel, you probably know the sorts of person you're trying to attract, the sort of person who you can really help. And it's worth just thinking about why that might be the case. Just using your gut feel, really. Who is probably your ideal customer, and why is that? Question 2. Who is definitely not your ideal customer? Some people find this question easier. There are some people who you may know immediately are not the type of person that you're trying to attract, whether that's a particular age range, whether it's a particular level of experience. Someone who is very experienced in your field or who knows more than you might not be your ideal customer. So it's worth working out who is not your ideal customer and working out why, because again, that cuts down who you are going for. And thirdly, work out what is the problem that you can help them solve. It's worth getting this into a single sentence. You've probably seen this before. You've probably seen this on LinkedIn profiles and Facebook profiles. This is your short elevator pitch. I help ideal customer, that's what we looked at in question 1, to do this thing so that they can do whatever the result is that they achieve from it. You want to look at the problem you can solve for them. And there may be several. And if so, great. Let's work out which is the most valuable to your customer, because that's the one where you're going to get the greatest value. Fourth question, who do they follow? So your ideal customer, who are they following at the moment? There will be competitors in your field. There are probably well-known people in your field who you know already from looking online are doing similar things. It's worth looking at what your competitors are doing because they probably have similar offerings. They're also the sorts of people who have probably gathered together various of your ideal customers. And therefore, it's worth following them, looking at them, seeing what they're saying, because the sorts of things they're saying may be the sorts of things that your customers also need to hear. So looking at who are the competitors in your field, work out 4 or 5 competitors, because they're probably doing a very similar thing. And where will you find them? So there may be certain websites that you would anticipate them going to, certain niche areas that you would expect to find them in. There may be certain trade exhibitions and other places that you would find them. There may be other products that they use. That leads you to find them in certain groups And if you can find them in the groups where they are, then you'll find those customers already rounded up and in one place. And it's much easier to target those customers in that place. What Google searches are they likely to be making? What sorts of things are they going to be looking for to solve the problems that they have? There's an obvious reason for asking this question. This is the sort of information you're going to be using in your marketing. It's the sort of thing that you're going to be aiming your articles at, your posts at, in order to get those search results, in order to get seen by Google. And there are various techniques of making sure that you can be seen by Google, making sure that you get the best SEO, search engine optimization. You've probably heard the term before, making sure that you are findable by search engines. Various techniques you can do that, but one of the ways that you want to be thinking about that is by looking at the questions that your ideal customer is likely to be searching for. What do they want? What does your customer want? Yes, we know the solution that you can provide, but what do they actually want? The thing that they are searching for. And what do they need to avoid? You've probably heard the sorts of marketing phrases before. You can get these things and avoiding these things. So benefits, 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 avoiding distraction, procrastination, delay, whatever it may be, avoiding the pain that they're trying to get away from, whilst giving them the benefit that they're trying to achieve. And this can be useful in your offer statement. Your offer statement may be how to blank without blank. You've probably seen hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of statements like this in on websites and in courses, because this is a well-known saying. It's something that works because it shows the benefit whilst highlighting the thing that they can avoid. And what would solving their problem be worth to them? Again, we looked before, you might have a solution to a problem. The best solution to focus on is the one that is the highest value to your customer. What's the highest value problem that you can solve right now for your customer? And what sort of other benefits would they get in terms of how they might feel if they could only get away from this problem that's holding them back? If they could only release themselves from this issue, what else might they feel besides the money? It might be a huge frustration. It might be solving a problem that causes them worry, like a legal issue, for instance. And what will it cost them if they don't find a solution? So you've looked at the positive, this is looking at the negative. So if they don't find a solution to this problem, what's it going to cost them ultimately in money and time? This is something for your marketing material, of course, because you want to be setting out exactly why they should be coming to you and what the issue will be if they don't come to you. What's it going to cost them ultimately, long term? You're going to be looking at what they believe now about their problem, the sorts of statements, and we looked previously at looking at Facebook groups, looking at the language that's used by your customer, and looking at what they believe right now about the problem, and what do they need to believe in order to get the change they need. So what do they need to get over in order to get the change that you can lead them to? Because this is a shift in mindset that you're going to want to get them to over the course of your marketing. And how can you get them to those insights? Do you have, for instance, a story that might show exactly how you get from one place to the next place? Is there something that you can relate to in your past that you can show them how you got from a place where you had the same problem they had to a place where you've solved that problem? Or have you solved this for someone else? If so, make a note of those, because those are the sorts of stories that help to sell your product. What have they likely tried so far? What are the sort of things that your ideal client might have looked at so far and tried and perhaps failed, perhaps buying courses online, perhaps looking at other solutions? And what might trigger them to buy now? Is there a particular trigger that would allow them to purchase your solution? And what else might achieving this result mean to them? We've talked about money, and we've talked about getting over a solution and the pain of releasing themselves from the pain of a particular problem that's facing them. But ultimately, what else might that mean? Might it mean more time freedom? Might it mean more time with family? Might it mean more holidays? What are the sort of things that you could bring out in your marketing that might flow from taking the solution that you're offering? Many of these things, holidays, time with children, those sorts of things, are well known already. But what about if you can allow people to make a real difference to their community, for instance, or to do something they really care about? And what this ultimately brings you to is 4 questions. And these are 4 questions that you want to be answering in any marketing you're providing to your customer, because it's the sort of questions that your customer will have from the moment you start speaking. Why you? Why are you qualified to tell me anything about this? Why this? Why this thing that you're offering me? What does it do? What's the benefit to me of this thing? Why them? Why should they particularly take this? And you've done this by looking at them as an ideal customer. You've looked at this because you've looked at the sorts of issues that they're likely to have. And finally, why now? This is the trigger. This is the thing that should make them take action now, as opposed to at some point in the future. This is looking at the pain to them if they don't take action quickly. Once you have those the answers to those 4 questions, then you have the basis of any marketing material. You can focus on these in your copywriting for emails, on your website, wherever you're marketing to clients. You have the basis of an offer. And an offer is a very powerful thing. We'll be looking a bit more at offers in a future session. But for now, use the information that you've gathered from searching for your ideal avatar to answer some of these questions. And already you've started down the path of creating some marketing that you can use for your business. Hope that's useful. And next time we'll be looking at creating and putting together an offer.